Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. It's too early for this? No, it's not. It's 11 o'clock. It's not raining. It's not 34 degrees. It's beautiful outside. It's a beautiful day. All right, so the purpose of today's meeting is to take everything that we've done over the last couple months and just take that all together and start pointing it with some focus on what we're going to be doing for the next, quarter, 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever you're going to do. We have to pick a lane of focus. So that's going to be the purpose. The purpose is basically to talk about this. We started out with a goal setting series. We started out with a different way to set some goals, right? We had you come in, had you change some of your energy, change your focus, change your language, change everything that you normally use when you set goals, which is normally, I kind of want some money, I want to be licensed to do that. So I said, no, change it, get absolute certainty. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I can do. This is what's going to happen. Create some focus, get some goals. So we take that. Then we go and we create some vision. With that energy, with that focus of what you want, we create some vision. We put some vision boards together. We're supposed to be revisiting that every single day, reminding yourself of that energy, of that intention, of that vision, visualizing the emotions and everything that you're going to have. After that, we have our vision. We take the vision and we say, okay, well, now that I have kind of an idea of what that is and I know what my outcome is, let's put the numbers together because I have to have and create a plan. So we put the business side of it together. We took the numbers, figured out this is how much I need to earn. This is how much I need to live. This is how much I need to make my goals and dreams happen this year. This is how much you need to earn. This is how many deals I need to do. This is how many people I need to talk to. That is everything starting to come together. Now that you have that whole plan together, what's the next step? Crickets. Next step is, how are you going to get there? We never start with how, we start with why. We started with the why, we started with the reason, we started with the goal, start breaking that all down. Now we get to how. This is where it all comes together and we start saying, this is what our next step is going to be. And there is absolute power in having a clear, concise focus of what we are going to do. Let me ask you something. How many of you online and in this room, you can chat yes, or you can chat in what it was. How many of you have something that you've wanted that you've wanted before, that you did not have before, but you have today? Something in your life that you have now that you did not have before, but you really wanted it before. But it's here now. It's something you have now. How many of you have something like that? Say yes. How many of you can type in what that thing is that you know you wanted it, and you did not have it, but it is here and part of your life now? How many of you have something like that? Chat in what it is. Brand new, beautiful home. Yes. My car. What was yours? My kids. Let's talk about focusing on that. How'd you get there? My kids. Something that you did not have that is now part of your life now. Moved to Florida. Moved from where? Southern Illinois to Florida. What else do we have? A home with a view. Paid cash for my truck. Yes, a new car. So every single one of us has something in our life now that was not part of our life before. Let me ask you a question, and chat in and tell me this. How did it get there? That's why I laughed when you said kids. Well, we stopped at the gas station. I bought Marks and Miller Lite. How did it get there? Work. Okay, well, work is how you got it there, but something happened first. Well, what caused you to end up taking that step in the direction to make it happen? A plan before you had a plan. My own business, someone told me I couldn't do it. Okay. And when someone told you I couldn't do it, Kelly, what did you say to yourself? Hold my beer. And that's the ultimate, hold my beer. What did you do in that moment when you said, hold my beer? What are you doing in that moment when you say that? You're making a decision. You're saying, I will accept Nothing else other than this, I'm deciding right now. Okay? That's what you did. You decided that you will have that, and there is no question that it's going to be there. And then you got laser sharp focus on what it was and what it was going to take to get there. And then you took massive action with that laser sharp focus and the decision that you will make this happen no matter what. And that's how you have to take and put all of this together in your business. You have your goals, you have that, you have to make a decision that there is no other option but you getting these goals and getting this outcome. So in this moment, in today, as we start to pick a lane, before you pick a lane that you're going to focus on, you have to decide that there is no other option. You're going to get the outcome and the goals that you set and that you want. Now we have to get laser sharp focus on what it is that we want. How specific is it? Just really, really work on those goals and really keep that. And we do that by revisiting it every single day, revisiting that vision. And once we have that and we have the decision, the vision, and the focus, we take massive action. But you don't take action from a point of uncertainty. You don't take action towards a goal without knowing and deciding that it's going to happen and having clear focus on what the outcome is going to be. So just keep that in mind as we start to make these decisions towards that avenue that we're going to take. You have to have a clear vision. You make a decision that there's no other option. Because if you start working towards a focus, if you start working towards one of your lanes, say you're going to do, let's just say for sale by owners, and you haven't decided that you are going to do this, get that, this is what I have, and it's going to be right here. I'm going to call this many for sale by owners, and that's the avenue that's going to get me there. It's going to take 2 to 4 weeks of you picking up the phone, calling your for sale by owners, making those calls, not having any deals, and you're going to be like, oh, God, I don't have any deals. The 30-day mark, the breakdown or breakthrough moment that you have is going to be a breakdown because there was no ultimate decision, no other option but forward and getting what I want and getting the result that I'm after. You will break down instead of break through. And it happens all the time. So we have to take this moment to make a decision. We all have things in our life now that were not there before because we made a decision that it was going to happen. So I need you to make a decision. It's going to happen. Create some clear, concise focus and envision what it's going to look like when you're done. And once you do that, then we start taking massive action towards that goal. And we start taking massive action towards one of our lanes. So let me get into sharing a few things and walking through some of this again. There you go. Okay, so we just covered most all of this, kind of walked through this. We explored a different way of kind of setting some goals. We created some vision. We got a business plan together. We got your numbers. I have that Excel business plan that I shared with the whole team that you guys can go through and figure out your numbers, right? Yep. Okay, so good. Perfect with your budget and all that. Now we're going to be picking a lane. You have to have a specific, measurable, attainable, real and purposeful, and time-sensitive goal that we're after. We're not focusing too much on goals, but just making sure that we're reiterating that all of this is going to be specific, measurable, attainable, real and purposeful, and time-sensitive. So as we start focusing on picking a lane, we got to know time-sensitive. How long are we going to be focusing on this? I recommend a quarter. I recommend taking the next 3 months because in this business, most of these things that are going to come out of your business, there are more, it takes proactive work in getting the reactive result. So it's going to take 30, 60, 90 days before you get the outcome. I've told you the story about the guy who made 200 calls a day, 5 days a week. After 30 days, had nothing. Between day 30 and day 90, he ended up with 10 deals. But that first 30-day mark, breakdown or breakthrough moment, you got to take that breakdown or breakthrough. So we're going to make sure that we have specific, measurable, attainable, real and purposeful, and time-sensitive goals that we're going to be after by picking this lane and this series of focus that we're going to go into. Then we have to know what your schedule is. Before you decide your lane and what you're going to focus on, know your schedule. Why? Because if you sit down and try and pick what I'm going to do, and I'm gonna focus on this, and I'm going to do that, and now I'm going to go, okay, well, when will I work? Well, I don't know if that's a good time to call them, and I don't know if I should really do that. And when am I going to pick the time to get ready for doing that? And when should I call? How many calls? Don't do it. When do you work? Let's just pick the schedule first. What does your schedule look like? When do you work real estate? I'm not asking you to tell me when you call, when you prospect, when you knock. I just want to know when you work real estate. That's the whole purpose of creating a schedule, so that there are no mental blocks getting in the way of, well, if I'm not going to do it this time, it's not going to be the same as that time. And then you get analysis paralysis and you do absolutely nothing. So pick the time you will work. Make a decision. I will work at this time. When I say work, I don't mean, well, I mean, I could work all day. No, work, prospect. When will you actively prospect in this lane? When will you actively prospect? Your time for talking to new people. If you need 10 contacts a day, when are you going to spend the time prospecting for those 10 people? That's what it is for work. If you can prospect and make a non-negotiable time frame that you're going to work and prospect for those contacts, that's where you're going to be able to make the difference. Non-negotiable time, 2 hours a day, 1 hour a day, 4 hours a day if you have really lofty goals. But you have to be able to pick those times and say that I will work and prospect towards that during this time. Look, I know you have to print flyers. I know you have to print out Excel sheets of the contacts you're going to make. I know you have to do all that. That is not actively generating income producing activities. That's not your work time that's going on the schedule. You can schedule that time as well, but I need to know, when do you work real estate? When will you actively put in the time? Okay. Have an intention for your day. When you start your day with what you're going to do, have a clear intention of what you're going to do. So now that we got a schedule and we're going to start focusing on this lane, what is your clear intention? My intention is to talk to 10 people per day, or to talk to 10 people today, to find one buyer or seller that will let me help them in their real estate journey. My intention is to set one listing appointment every single week. My intention is to set one buyer appointment every single day, whatever that is. Have an intention. If you don't know why you're doing it, if you don't know what you're doing, there's going to be an issue. This is all part of focus, having a clear focus, because in the absence of focus, what typically happens? In the absence, what did you say? Exactly, because you're not focused. Thank you. Thank you. In the absence of focus, if you don't have a clear focus, what usually happens? Nothing. Well, how often do you get those things accomplished and done? How many people have gone through your whole entire day, go, oh my God, I was so busy today. Yeah, tell me about it. What'd you do? I don't know. Did you get everything you needed to get done today? I don't know. I think so. I'm not sure. How close did you get to your goal today? So you need to know what you're doing every day. Your intention should be something that gets you closer to your goal by the end of the day. If my goal is X, I need to earn income, or I need this, or I need this much income, or I want to put that much money in the bank, or whatever. My intention should be something that brings me closer to that goal. I intend to talk to 10 people today, find one buyer or seller I can help. That will get me closer to my goal, correct? If I do that every day and my goal is to do that and I achieve that every day, will I be closer to my goal? Yes, so set an intention. Focus on the outcome. Okay, so focus on your outcome. Stop focusing so much on the activities. Because what happens is I'm talking to you every single day. I'm talking to a lot of you about what you're doing. You're so focused on the activity that you forget that you're talking to people. You're so focused on the activity and I need a deal. You forget this is a person. And if you remembered that they are a person and you're focused on the outcome and focused on the emotion and the outcome of everything that you're going to get from doing all of this work and feeling good about already achieving it and knowing that my intention is to help this person, you remember there's a person on the other side. But most of us just completely forget about all of that. We're just, hey, yeah, so I was just calling to see if you might be able to get you a cash offer on your home. Yeah, no, well, okay, well, yeah, thanks. Bye. You didn't ask him any questions. You didn't sit there and try and connect. There's no rapport building. It's, I'm going to barrel through this script and hope for an outcome by the end. Focus on the outcome rather than the individual activities, because on the other end of your phone or door knock, there's going to be a person. All right? And the way you can start focusing here is asking your question, focusing on the outcome is sit down and think, if I commit to doing these things that I set out to do, because I know what I have to do, I've got my numbers, my business plan, I have to talk to this many people, every single day to create this much income every single day. If I do that, where's my business going to be in 6 to 12 months? 6 months, 12 months, whatever you want. If I do that, ask yourself that question. Sit down and really write it out. Where will my business be in 6 to 12 months? If you did everything that you knew you were supposed to do, where would your business be in 6 to 12 months? Where I wanted it to be, okay? Get some more emotion into it. Really think about, where's it going to be? How happy would you be? How successful would you feel? How would you feel if you did everything? How would you feel every single day? Or how would you feel at the end of 6 to 12 months if you did everything you said you were going to do every single day to achieve the outcomes that you want? And where will your business be and how will that make you feel? Think about those things because they put you in a different state than, oh, I got to make 10 calls. I don't want to talk to this person. They just got cussed out. They just slammed the door on me. The dog chased me out of the yard. Focus on where you want your business to be in 6 months or 12 months. And then ask yourself, how would that make you feel if you did all of those things? And the only way you get to make these things happen is by going through those steps, doing those 3 things. Decide that it's going to happen. Make a decision. Cut off from any other option that this is what I'm going to do. Visualize it and get very clear, focused on the outcome, on what you are going to create and generate instead of focusing on your daily tasks and daily activities. We need to schedule those, but we need to focus on the outcome. Okay? And I put these in here just as a reminder, right? We'll talk about these. This goes to your focus, but also it creates a belief. I want to show you how if you don't control your focus, it ends up creating a belief inside of you that you may not like. Are you a flea in a glass jar? For those of you who don't know, fleas can jump, goodness, it's like 200 times their height. A flea can jump up to 200 times its own height, like huge, huge leaps. But there's a doctor who took a bunch of fleas and put them in a glass jar. And the fleas started to jump out before he even got the lid on it. He put the lid on it. And what he noticed after doing multiple studies was after 3 days, 3 days is all it took for these fleas to stop jumping and hitting the top of the glass. They would not jump and hit the top of the glass anymore after 3 days. And then when they removed the top of the glass after 3 days, those fleas did not jump out of the jar. They only jumped as high as where that glass lid was and never jumped higher than that ever again. And it was so powerful in them that belief that was instilled into them by what they focused on, that I can only jump this high for 3 days. I can only jump this high for 3 days. And they focused on that and they saw that and they started to believe it, that when those fleas had offspring, their offspring repeated what the fleas did that had them and never jumped higher than the glass lid. Their offspring never jumped higher than that, all from making a simple thing like this, putting them into a scenario, surrounding them with other fleas, putting a limitation on it. The fleas focused on their environment, focused on what they could do, and that's all they could do, had a limitation on it. Take that limitation away, never did anything more than what they were limited to before. And then had offspring that never did anything more. Correct. It's happening to you right now. Your outcomes today are a direct result of the way that you are surrounded, not your genes, not how you were born, not the genes that were given to you. It's a direct result of the people that surrounded yourself with, your family. And you focused on them every single day. And you repeated the things that they did and you learned from them. They say by the time we're 7 years old, we have a series of habits and we've learned the majority of a lot of the characteristics that we're going to carry with us for a long portion of time because of your intent focus, that everything you're taking in at that age, you are focusing on and bringing in and then you're recreating. You have the ability to decide what you're going to focus on. Okay, you're not being capped by a glass jar. You don't have that. Your potential is unlimited. The only limitations that you have are the ones that you cap. Right now, the only reason you aren't where you wanted to be is because you're the one holding the lid on top of this jar. And you're focusing on the fact that that lid is there and you can't go any higher than that, rather than focusing on the fact that you can do anything that you want. If you believed you were limitless, what else would you create? What else would you do? If you knew you could not fail, what else would you do? How much more would you achieve? How much harder would you try if you knew you couldn't fail? If you knew you weren't going to fail, but every time you're doing things, you start to fail a little bit, but you're like, no, I know I'm not going to fail. All of those things, those aren't my failures. I'm not failing. And you would keep trying harder and harder and harder and harder until you got it, because you knew you weren't going to fail. If you knew there was no glass jar on top, there was no glass lid. What are you focusing on right now that's holding you back? Where is your focus, and what is limiting you? What has stopped you from achieving all of the things that you want? Because you can have all of them. There's somebody out there that's done all of the things that you want, which means it's possible. Same thing with the elephant. The elephant develops a belief the same way. They don't. A grown elephant can rip that rope out of the ground, can rip that peg out of the ground, no problem. You've seen the things that a grown elephant can do. The way they get that elephant like that is, as a baby, they condition it. They tie a rope to its leg, they put the pedestal on the ground, and he can't get away. And he is so intently focused on that rope and being stuck there, they fight and fight and fight until they believe it can't get away, because it was so focused on that rope. And then when it gets older, it still is focused on the rope, that the rope is what's holding me back, and it doesn't focus on itself and the fact that there is no limitation inside of it, that the limitation is only that little rope. They're not focused on the power that they have. So all of us have either a glass jar or a rope that's held us back to some point that says, I can't do this, I can't create that, I won't do this. Whatever your conditioning is, was due to your focus, the things that you were subject to as a child, subject to growing up. That's it. You were conditioned. What if you chose to focus on something else and become conditioned to a better outcome? And that's what I would ask you to do, is to give up your limitations and focus on the fact that you can do anything that you want, and you have greater abilities, and there are no limitations on anything that you want to achieve. Stop putting a glass lid or a rope around your leg and holding yourself back. You've proven to yourself you can do it before, because you've chosen something that you've wanted before and you made it happen. Right? And right. And that concludes that part of the talk. So now that you're going to choose a focus, you're going to make a decision. I decide I'm going to do this. We're going to choose a lane of focus. And the reason why is for all those same reasons. If you focus on one specific lane and put all of your energy and tension into one specific lane, you already see the power of what focus can do. The power of what focus can create. It can create a belief that's going to propel you or hold you back. So if we focus on one avenue of business, it's going to be expireds, withdrawals, whatever they are, and we put all of our energy and all of our focus into that, and we have a decision that we're going to get it, we know what the goal we're after, and we put a plan together, and we execute that plan every single day, you are much better off, and you will more than likely get to your outcome than somebody who doesn't do any of those things, or one of those things, or even two of those things. If you put all of this together and have clear focus on what your outcome is and what you're going to do to create that outcome. You want to be a jack of all trades, or do you want to be a master of your trade? Eventually, that statement is kind of confusing, because it says a jack of all trades is a master of none, but truly better than a master of one. That's how the statement finishes up. But to become a jack of all trades, you have to understand all of those trades to some extent. If you have never worked your sphere, worked for sale by owners, worked expireds, made phone calls, door knocked, done any of those things, or farmed, and you try to do all of them, you will fail. You will, because there's no way that you can master all of them or become a jack of all of those trades and be really good at all of those trades by doing them all at the same time. Choose one do it for a quarter. Let's become good at it. Let's become a master of it. Once you do that, if you want to continue to do it because your results are good, good. Keep continuing to do that. After your first quarter of doing that, guess what happens after 90 days? Your actions become habitual. You develop new habits. You have a habit of working from 8:30 to 9:30 for our morning meeting, 9:30 to 10 practicing, 10 to 12 o'clock prospecting, 12 to 1 lunch, 1 to 2 o'clock buffer time if I didn't make my contacts enough in the morning, 2 till 5 o'clock appointments, showings, prep work for the next day, 5 o'clock on family time, plus maybe catch up phone calls. You create a habit. And after 90 days, it becomes a more normal routine. So now what you can do is that's no longer my focus, but it still gets done. I don't need to focus on it because it's a habit now. It's what I do. It's how my business runs. It's how I work. And then you can bring in another focus because this is no longer my focus. Let's say it was farming. I'm no longer focusing on farming. I just do it because it's part of what I do. It's my business. It's how I created it. It runs. It's on autopilot now. I don't have to prospect as much. I don't need as many contacts, but I'm going to keep doing the farming because I enjoy doing that and it builds a good business. Let me focus on this now. I'm going to shift the focus over to this for this next quarter because I want to be more versatile. I want to add another avenue. I want to add another lane. I want to do something else. And that's how you can slowly become a jack of all trades and a master of one or so at a time. And you get to make those decisions, which ones you're going to focus on. So the rest of the time that we're going to talk, the next 15 minutes or so, is going to be discussing some of the different lanes and answering. I really want to answer any questions. If you have any questions about what you should be focusing on, what you can focus on, what lane you're thinking of doing, what ideas can we have, we can schedule some coaching time after that. That's what some of our coaching appointments will be for, is really developing your specific lane that you want to focus on. So use the Calendly appointments for Jimmy and I to schedule some of those so we can really get focused on your specific lane and the action items you're going to take every day to get the contacts that you need. That's what I want to use for there. So let's talk about right now, the way that business is going, the way the market is, some different avenues of focus that you can focus on, some different lanes that you can choose. Number one, and these are just really brief, we're going to just dive in and talk about it. So please feel free to chat in or ask any questions. Sphere of influence and past clients. There are plenty of you, I know some of you online have a huge sphere of influence. Yet, when I ask you this one question, you won't look me in the eye. When's the last time every single person in your sphere has heard from you? Right? When's the last time they heard from you? When we say becoming a master and choosing a lane and becoming very, very diligent and focused, making a decision and making it your focus, if it's your focus, working my sphere says, I call everybody in my sphere every single month. I text everybody in my sphere every other month, or maybe I call them every quarter. I text them every other month. They get an email from me from my drip campaign every single month. I deliver a CMA to them if they own a home. They see my social media. They get 45 to 50 touches every single year from me. I ask them how they're doing. I follow up with them, the past clients, all that. I go through all of this. If it's my focus, it's going to be extremely, they get a personalized letter. I drop something off. I know when their birthdays are. I know when their anniversary of their purchase was. I know when their leases are up. I know all of their kids' names. It becomes your absolute focus. And that's what you focus on. I mean, there's other things that you need to show homes when you get buyers. You need to do all that, but your focus for bringing business in is going to be sphere. So doing things like phone calls and text messages. When is the last time everybody in your sphere got a call from you? And when I say call, yes, I mean picking the phone up, putting it to your ear and calling them. I hear so much. Well, yeah, I called them the other day, or I called all of them last quarter. Okay, how many did you actually call? I mean, well, I texted all of them. It's not a phone call. Pick up the phone and call. A phone call. I understand you want to communicate with them the way that they communicate, but half the reason you think they only communicate by text is because that's the way you only want to communicate with them. I don't want to hear from half the people in my phone either. That's fine. But when they do pick up the phone, I do get excited and I see it and oh man, hey, what's going on when they call me? So they deserve a phone call. Once a quarter phone call, text message, once a month, even if it's just to text them about your new listing. Somebody who's really good at this, Jackie Stone, will sit down and text 10 to 20 people in a day. Hey guys, it's Jackie. Market's going absolutely crazy. I've sold all of my listings. I really need some new opportunities. Do you know anybody that I can help? Or, hey guys, it's Jackie. Market's going crazy. Interest rates are about to go up. If you or anyone you know that's been looking to buy a second home investment property or a new primary residence or whatever, please tell them to give me a call. I'm really looking for some people I can help. And guess what she gets every single time she does it? A referral of some kind. She gets something. But if that's your focus, you're going to sit down and do that. And when I say focus, an hour to 2 hours a day of active prospecting, income generating activities. Moxie, we have Moxie coming out. If you're going to make sphere of influence and past clients your focus, Moxie is coming out with their CRM this month. So you're going to be able to use it, put all of them into Moxie, set them up on drip campaigns, set them up on reminders so that you can call them. You could probably text them directly from that app as well. They're going to have your website. You're going to make sure that they get a social media message from you. You're going to make sure that every time you get a new listing or a new buyer under contract, it goes on social media so your sphere sees that too. Those kind of things. Past clients lumped into that. Your past clients should have, if you sold a home to somebody in your career and they have not received a CMA from you to know what their property is worth, you have failed them. It may hurt, but it's the truth. You have failed them if they do not know what their home is worth right now. If I was not active in the market as an agent, as a manager, if I was not active and I did not know, and I'm just sitting there, my home literally went from about 500, 515 to 600, 615 in a matter of 3 months based on 3 sales that happened in there that were pretty much exactly like mine. In a matter of 3 months, that happened. And don't you think that if I don't follow the market and had no idea, don't you think it would be a good thing for me to know that I used you to buy my home for $395,000 and right now it's worth about $615,000, $625,000? Don't you think I'd want to know that? Don't you think I'd want to know that the agent who helped me buy the home, when I may have questioned my decision at that time, I know I made a good decision because of all the equity I have? Don't you think if I'm looking to do better things for my family, to try and create some more income for them, maybe passively buy another business, buy another home, and now I have $200,000 of equity I might be able to access to do that? Don't you think I should know that? What if I'm sitting there stressing out about how I'm going to get the next bit of passive income because I need, I got to earn more, I got to do this, got to do that, and you're the one that calls me that same day, divine intervention, because it happens all the time, and you tell me about I have the ability to access 200,000, probably 150 of that in equity to be able to create a better life for me and my family. What if that was the phone call that you made that day? And that happens all the time. But you have to be more focused on the individual than the action that you're doing of calling. Be more focused on the individual to listen and ask questions and understand where they're at in their life. You have to be more focused on the individual to understand what their sphere is, what's going on in their sphere, on their social media, with you talking to them. And if you talk to them once a quarter on the phone and text them once a month or every other month, you will have more insight into that. That's your focus, because it's my focus that I'm doing this. It's not just something I'm doing for business. It's my absolute focus. My intention is to help every single person in my sphere maximize the value of their life through real estate. That could be a clear intention. What else? Remind. Remind has so many opportunities. If you want to make something like this your focus because you don't have a sphere, you don't have a lot of people to talk to, there are so many opportunities in Remind to create. All you have to do is sit down and take 10 to 15 minutes. You can create a cart and you can be working within 15 minutes. What can you do in Remind? Just listed, just sold. But Chris, I don't have any listings. I didn't sell any homes. I don't care. Somebody did. Somebody just listed a home. Somebody just sold a home. If your focus was going to be just listed and just sold, because you can take any one of these and make them a focus inside Remind. My focus is going to be just listed and just sold for this next quarter. But I haven't taken a lot of listings. I don't care. Let's pick a section of town, Riverview, a section of Riverview, maybe 2 or 3 neighborhoods. Every time a listing goes on the market, I adopt it as my own, and I call everybody in that neighborhood and I say, hey, congratulations. Your neighbors are listing their home and it may have affected the value of your home. Your home values are going up day by day. Have you ever considered selling your home? Or for the right price, would you consider selling your home? Or would you be interested in a no obligations cash offer and alleviate all the stress if you were thinking of selling your home? Really simple. But I would focus on every single home that's like that home that came up on the market. Now you have a direct connection to them. If it's a 2,500 square foot home, go and Remine and find it just listed 2,500 square foot, do 2,350 to 2,550 or 2,300 to 2,600 square feet. Find every home that's that size and deliver them a CMA. Make a phone call. Go knock on their door. Now you know that there's a home that's just like yours and their home value should be pretty damn close to that one. And you could tell them that the range of their value is going to be between here and here because of their neighbor putting their home on the market. Doesn't have to be your listing. And, well, Chris, there's not a lot of listings coming up. Good. Take a couple neighborhoods and every time a listing comes up. Then we got another side, just sold. Every time something sells, your neighbor selling their home, your neighbor closing on their home. Do you see the values? $20,000 higher than they listed for. It definitely affected the value of your home. If you've ever considered selling your home, now might be a time to consider a little further. When's a good time we can have a conversation? Would you be open to a no obligations cash offer? Or would you like to discuss the strategies and tactics that we're using to sell homes at and above list price similar to your neighbor? Have conversations. There's no excuse for not having people in your sphere to talk to. There's plenty of people to talk to. Absentee owners, we beat this one with a dead horse all the time. I don't want to go into it too much, but absentee owners is a great opportunity. Everybody that owns a home, whether it's their primary residence or a secondary home, they should know what their home value is worth. And if you're a landlord and you're getting the past 2 years where you haven't been getting a lot of income from your property because of moratoriums on evictions, and you went through all the hassle with the tenant, you haven't been inside your property, that you talked to your lender and they were able to move the mortgage around a little bit, but you still haven't paid down any equity on it and you're just frustrated and done with it because you tried the whole landlord thing and I'm over it. And then you call them and tell them about their home value being greater than what, because the neighbor's putting in a property, home value being more than what they may think it is. Would you like open to having a conversation? I can get you a no obligations cash offer, or I can be your eyes and ears on the ground. When's the last time you saw the property? I can get over there and take a few photos. You go take a few photos, put it in for an offer pad offer, and just say, hey, by the way, I got some photos and updates on your property, but I did take the liberty of getting you this no obligations cash offer. If you were ever to consider, this is what somebody would be willing to pay for your home, not on the open market. Absentee owner is a big one. High sales scores, you could literally just take Riverview and go through all the high sales scores, deliver them a CMA, knock on the door, pick up the phone and call them, have a conversation with them. Something in the algorithm says that they're a high sales score. Distressed properties, you drive around everywhere, you see properties that are distressed, write the address down, look them up, find the owner, see if you can find a phone number or mail them something. They're in a distressed position, and most people in a distressed position right now or about to get foreclosed on or having to go through some other type of difficulty like that, their home's worth more than what they think it is, and they could get out of being foreclosed on and put money in their pocket. We've seen at least 4 or 5 of these in the last 6 months. Homeowners that are in a distressed situation that cannot pay their mortgage, they're about to get foreclosed on, and we could sell their home for $30,000, $50,000 more than what they're getting foreclosed on it for. But they're not aware of that. And they think, I'm getting foreclosed on. Oh, well, that's it. That's the end. It's not the end. Let me make a few phone calls. Let me get you in touch with Abraham and Sweetie, and let's have you talk with them. We might be able to put a stay on that foreclosure for the time being, give us the opportunity to list a property and sell it, because the way that it looks, we could probably put about $20,000 or $30,000 in your pocket. Would you rather have that or a foreclosure on your record? Different conversations. Strategic farming by neighborhood. Pick a neighborhood and go through all of these. Pick one neighborhood, 200 homes, and do all of those for those 200 homes for a quarter. Find every absentee owner, call them. Find every just listed and just sold, tell everybody with that same size home. Every time that happens in a smaller, confined neighborhood. You can't usually do one of those in a small neighborhood because there's not enough. But if you pick a small, confined neighborhood and do all of those, you're going to be talking to homeowners. And my focus is to work this farm and talk to this farm. Talk to everybody, text everybody, drop off a CMA for everybody, mail a letter to everybody, get something out to every single person, create a Facebook page for that part of the neighborhood, whatever that is. You can do any of those. Social media, we have a daily marketing guide. I forgot to log into this. Was it Beggins Agents? If you wanted to focus on social media, forget what my login was. Dang it. Found it. See if you can log into that for me, please. If you want to focus on social media and you don't know where to start, on begginsagents.com, Mike created a daily marketing guide. You literally click on the daily marketing guide and follow the instructions with what to do every day. Did you do this? No. Pops up. Do this. You have to do that before you can do it. Here's what you're going to do. Boom, 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 boom. Then when you answer the question, did you do this? Yes. It goes to the next step. Make sure that when you do this, the next thing is to do this. When somebody does that, you do this. It literally walks through how to create daily marketing on a social media platform to make sure that you are staying active and top of mind on a social media platform. You can use our content. You can use your own content. You can put your own posts. That's okay. Scripts and guides. There's step-by-step guides. Explore the guides. They have these too. If you're new, I have a listing lead, I have a buyer lead. What do I do next? It's yes, no questions, but daily marketing guide. Follow the guide, and you can walk through, and you answer the questions. It'll tell you what to do next if you don't know where to start, and that will help. So you don't have an excuse for, well, I don't know how to do it. Good, just follow this. Take the posts that we already give you and use these things. Well, you don't have to go deep through it, but just show you that there is a daily marketing guide that'll pop up. Next, FSBOs. Every single for sale by owner out there should hear from you. The average price of a for sale by owner in 2021 was $218,000, and it was earlier in the year. The average price of a non-for sale by owner was $296,000. A $70,000 to $80,000 gap between what a for sale by owner and somebody on the market. So obviously there's a couple discrepancies there. Either we're selling homes for more, or the people who are selling the lower priced homes are needing to put more money in their pocket and they're trying to save it. But let me ask you a question. How fast do you think you could sell a $200,000 home? Yeah, oh, gone, sold. It's already gone. Where'd it go? And how much do you think you'd be able to negotiate for that seller more than what that seller is going to negotiate for themselves? I know I'll put more money in their pocket. I'll put 20 grand more in their pocket. I can't guarantee it because we shouldn't guarantee anything, but I can tell you I'll put 20 grand more in their pocket than if I sell it rather than wait when they do. And the only thing different I'm going to do is I'm going to position it on market a little bit different. I'm going to call every single agent. I'm going to pit each one against each other and start making them drive their own price up. Without divulging anything about any offer, I'm going to be telling each one of them a little bit of something that's getting them to move up a little bit higher, change their offer, escalate a little bit more, creating a competitive bidding environment, making that buyer want it more. So tell me again how a for sale by owner is going to put more money in their pocket by doing it on their own. They won't. Every for sale by owner should hear from you. Somebody should be calling all these for sale by owners and going through a similar script than that. Look, I know real estate agents out there that wanted to list a home for this, and they would have accepted this offer, and I sold it for $50,000 more than that when I put it on the market. They literally came and asked me their opinion, my opinion, and I told them they almost accepted a $425 offer, and we sold it for $470. And they're an agent. And I told them, no, let's do this. And we accepted an offer almost 50 grand more. So agents don't even know how to maximize your value and put more money in your pocket. And you want to pay them less money because you don't see the value there. I'm telling you, I am worth every penny of this. And here's why. I'm going to show you what I can do for you. But there's a lot of different things you can do with them. You don't have to do trying to get your listing. You can offer them a cash offer. Why wouldn't you just call every for sale by owner out there and ask them if you can get them a no obligations cash offer? Why not? Hey, would you be interested in a no obligations cash offer? I can bring it to you. I could tell you what somebody would be willing to pay for your house. No obligations. Quick close if you need it. Let you lease it back if you want. Some of them even pay for your move. get you a cash offer. And right now, most of them are offering at and above list price. Would you be interested? What about, can I interview to be your buyer's agent? No, ma'am. I'm not calling. I'm not calling for your listing. I know you're getting a ton of phone calls. I know it's really annoying and the agents won't leave you alone. And I'm not here trying to do that. I know that when you sell this home, you're going to need a place to live, correct? Yeah. You're not going to want to be homeless. And I would like the opportunity to interview to be your buyer's agent. When's a good time I can come by and sit down and chat with you? Tell you about the benefits of being your buyer's agent in this market. Yep. So and that's the other thing. If you have buyers looking, consider a for sale by owner, and the buyer is willing to pay the commission in this scenario. Buyer paid a commission too. Yep. So when somebody wants something, they'll pay it. So the commission is paid on every sale. For a for sale by owner, a commission is paid on any sale. It's either paid by the buyer, paid by the seller. It's going to be paid by somebody. Hold an open house for them. Buyers are flocking to everything. Now, I noticed that your home's listed on Zillow, nowhere else, but would it be okay? I'd love to come in and hold an open house for you. No obligations. I don't want your listing. I don't want any of that. All I ask is that you sign an agreement stating that you'll pay me a commission if I'm able to bring you a buyer and negotiate a price with you. Would you be willing to pay that commission that you stated in Zillow you'd be willing to pay? I'd love to hold an open house for you. How many buyers are going to every new listing? A lot. And how are these for sale by owners marketing their listing? They're not. They have a for sale sign in the yard. Half of them aren't even on Zillow. They got this state-of-the-art marketing for sale. That's it. Some of them don't even have a phone number on them. And then you go knock on the door and they give you an attitude that you knocked on the door. How the hell else am I supposed to call you? They need you more than ever right now, even though homes are selling so quickly. They need you more than ever because they're going to leave money on the table. Cash offers. If you're not utilizing the ability to give somebody a no obligations cash offer, you're losing out. I would talk to everybody I knew and just let them know that, hey, I can get you a no obligations cash offer. I know one of the biggest stresses about selling a home is showings and this and that. And I know you just had a baby or you've got those big ass dogs that don't shut up and will just run every buyer out of there, or your home smells like cat, or whatever. There's tons of reasons. Your home's a piece. Your home needs all those updates and upgrades that you were planning on doing before you listed. Why not see what a no obligations cash offer would get you? Maybe you don't even have to do them, and I'll put more money in your pocket. Just with distressed sales, anybody thinking of selling, any for sale by owners, you should be utilizing that. And then last, expired and canceled, not relisted. There's not a lot of expireds now. There's not a lot of canceled right now, but there are a lot from a year or two ago that have not relisted. There are a lot that tried to sell 2-3 years ago. Does anybody realize $1 million homes are selling a lot quicker right now? Anybody? Bueller? Yeah? $1 million homes are selling a lot quicker right now. Some $1 million homes are on the market for 7 days and they're gone, over list price, over asking. Pretty crazy. But what happened 3 years ago? They may have tried to sell the home for $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, and they did not sell it. It was not selling. It had no traction, had nothing. No one was looking anywhere in this market, anywhere over here, nowhere near going to pay that for their home. They wouldn't pay $600,000 or $700,000 for a waterfront home, but now there's some that are selling for $1.1 million, $1.2 million. So they may not know. If I was not in the market, I would not know my home is worth $300,000, $200,000 more than what I paid for it. And it jumped like that in a matter of a couple months. They don't know their home might be worth $1 million. Expired and canceled, not relisted from 2 years ago is a great opportunity. So what questions, since all of you are online and you have the ability, you can unmute yourself if you want to chat.
Hey, thank you for everybody who's actually has their cameras on. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, I see you. Drive safe, Kim. Don't watch out for
yeah, like seriously, don't like.
So tell me, anybody have any questions? Anybody have a focus or have a lane that they want to discuss, or any questions that they have, or strategies or ideas they want to discuss?
I'll speak up and share real quick.
Sure.
Just, I met with Jimmy earlier this week, specifically to discuss Moxie and kind of come up with a plan to get me up and running for when we do launch more of the Moxie things. Because, I've not made time to focus on all the CMAs and that I've got listing presentations and buyer presentations that I want to create, but there's things that I need to do before that to get like my pages ready in Moxie, like rewrite my my bio and update some pictures and get some videos in there. So it was just really helpful for me to sit down with him and kind of focus or chunk it out in steps to move me towards developing those to share with my sphere of influence and then definitely those past clients, because that's going to be my focus for the month of February is, everyone gets a CMA, everyone gets updated, everyone gets touched, and kind of roll that out. So.
Good. And when do you plan to start implementing?
Well, the taskers that Jimmy and I created, I want to get to him and have completed like next week, and then start implementing them like the beginning of February and come up with that timeline. And, whether it's, 2 hours a day and I'm in Moxie focused on that, and that's my prospecting time.
When are you going to work?
Specifically in Moxie, the best time for me is in the morning.
Slow down.
Why?
Slow down.
About what?
Not what will you do, specific, when will you work? So there's power in just saying, this is my schedule of when I work. I don't want to know when you're going to do Moxie, when you're going to talk to these people, when will you work? What's your schedule going to be?
I mean, I work all day when I get up at 8:30 and start my Zoom.
That's the problem, because what are you going to do? What are you doing tomorrow? What's your schedule like tomorrow? Well,
what day is it? Tomorrow? It's changed because I was going to be touring new construction with clients. So now it's changed.
I get that. When is your non-negotiable prospecting time?
9:30 to 11:30.
Whenever I get to it, because I've got all day to do it.
Mm-mm.
I can do it from 8:30 to 5:30. I got time. I'm going to be showing, but I can do. You need a non-negotiable prospecting time.
Mm-hmm.
That needs to be, if you can't do it then because you have a buyer that needs to see property at 10 a.m. and that was your prospecting time, I get it. Those things happen, but it needs to be a trade-off. Okay, I normally only prospect Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but this day I need to show home, so I'm going to prospect on Thursday this week, or I'll prospect on the weekend this week. But the schedule is going to free you up. I know you have crazy days. I know you get a ton of that. You need to create a schedule and not say, well, I'm going to work in Moxie, I'm going to do this. I work my schedule and I have my income generating prospecting time during this time. You need to pick a time. Otherwise, it's not going to happen, which is the reason it hasn't happened up until this point in your business, having that clear, concise, focused schedule of when you do your work.
Okay, but it's 9:30 to 11:30.
But I see you 9:30 to 11:30 and it's not happening. Why?
Because I haven't started the schedule yet.
Okay. But when I asked you when you work, you didn't say 9:30 to 11:30. You said, I've got all day. I do, because do you see there's not a focus on it, and it took 3 times asking a question to get to the point to say, no, it's 9:30 to 11:30. Well, why wasn't that the first reply when I said, when do you work? What is your schedule? It wasn't,
right.
It wasn't out there. See what I'm saying? Do you see how not being clear, concise, focused, and saying, this is my schedule, this is when I work, and knowing what it is, and it's a non-negotiable? Because right there, you just proved that it's negotiable, because, well, it changes every day.
Well, no, that part does change, but no, that's why I don't do showings, or, if I tell buyers I can't meet with you, I'm available afternoon after 12, because we've got our 8:30 to 9:30, right? Our Zooms. And then that 9:30 to 11:30 is when I can stay and focus and prospect, either at home office or there in the office. And then it helps me set up my showings, because, for the rest of the afternoon. So when you said work, I wasn't sure what you were referring to.
The same thing I mentioned earlier in the meeting. Your work, when you do it, it's not I work, I can work all day because yeah, I understand we're working all day. Work, when is your work schedule? Work schedule, if you are working income generating activities. Showing homes isn't really income generating because you already generated the income when you got the prospect. When you're showing homes, you're trying to bring it to a closing. You're not generating. So when is your income generating prospecting time? That's your work time. That's when you're truly working. Because without any of that, you have nothing else to do in your business. You wouldn't have any other opportunities. You wouldn't have any other showings. You wouldn't have any other appointments. So when you work, when is your income generating prospecting time that you use to bring in new opportunities into your business? Okay. And that's why the answer is, I mean, well, I work all day, or I've got all day. I mean 8 to 5, I've got all day. Okay, well, when are you going to prospect? Well, I mean, I could do it all day. Okay, well, if you don't pick the time, it's never going to happen. How many people want to prospect? Who wants to prospect? So when the opportunity comes up where you didn't say, I start at 9 and I finish at 11 and I talk to 20 people, or I call 10, 20 people and talk to 5, whatever that is, when you don't say it like that, and you just say, I'll do it anytime, when 9 o'clock comes around, who wants to prospect? Not me. I got shit to do on social media. At 10 o'clock, who wants to prospect? Not me. Somebody else is in the office. I heard them laughing. I'm going to go see what they're laughing about. Who wants to prospect? Not me. It's lunchtime. I mean, some of the girls and I are going to go over here. If it's not on your schedule as an absolute must, a non-negotiable, it's not going to happen. So we need to make sure of that. And I don't want you to get to the point of needing to make it a non-negotiable, because then you're way too stressed out at that point. Look, I really need some business because I haven't done the things I said I was going to do. Why not start now and make it non-negotiable? Pick the schedule, say when you're going to do it, commit to doing it, decide, choose your focus, start doing it, even if you only do 5 a day. Look, you don't have to make 20 contacts a day. Just do 5 a day. Thank you for sharing. And you've just solidified why no one else is going to share for the rest of the class.
Hey, Chris.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Good, sir. What's going on?
Hey, I'm planning to do for this year prospecting for sale by owners and absentee ownership. So I'm gonna come in the office. There's a couple of things I want to do, and since I'm back, so those are my lanes that I'm going to be concentrating at this time.
Let me ask you a question, Joe. When you're driving down the road and you're driving in 2 lanes, how good of a driver are you?
Okay.
I mean, are you more prone to cause an accident, create a problem, get pulled over, create issues? You're driving on the road, driving in both lanes, swerving around, going back and forth between lanes. How good of a driver are you really being?
Well, I'm trying to basically, I know what you're trying to, what I'm trying to do with that is pretty much, I picked those 2, but most likely my first choice would probably be for sale by owner. My second choice will be absentee ownership.
All right. So if the left lane is my first choice, but I'm going to swerve over to the right lane for my second, maybe I'll go back to my first, and then I'll get back into the right lane, and then I'll go back. But I really wanted to be in the left lane, so let's go back in the left lane. And there's somebody in the right, so I'm going to keep going. Well, I saw somebody over in the right lane because I might want to get off this. How good of a driver are you being? Don't choose one.
Okay.
Let's choose one to start with and put all of your energy and efforts into that, because what's going to happen is if you start with one, or if you have 2 when you start off with, you're going to start with 1. And that's not going to work in the first 30 days. Because shit really works in the first 30 days. It takes 30, 60, 90 days to get it going. And at 30 days, you're going to change lanes. And then you're going to do that for 30 days. And that's not going to work. And you say, maybe I should have stuck with the first one. And then you're going to go back and you're going to do that for 30 days. And that's not going to work. And you're going to keep going back and forth, never giving yourself the opportunity to get to the 60 to 90 day mark. Here's the power in doing it for 90 days. One thing, you start to form habits. How many of you are good at putting your pants on in the morning? So good. I am amazing. I can get my pants on faster than any one of you in this damn room. But if I competed with my 4-year-old who hasn't done it a lot and doesn't know how to do it, he stumbles, he falls, but no, I got it. And he stands up and they're on backwards and he didn't do it right. Right? The power is in creating the habit. Now I put my pants on. I don't even think about it. don't even think about it. So what you need to do is pick one thing you start to get very good at. You know when your schedule is, you know when your time is, you know what you call, who you call, when you call, what you say when you call, so you can focus on the individual and not what you're saying. You can focus on the individual and not the home. You can focus on the individual and not the commission and get commission breath while you're talking to them. But I need your listing. But you can focus on the individual and really connect with them, and that's where your real power is. If you do that for 60 to 90 days, it takes that long to form a habit. 30 days, this is the process. 30 days is the breakdown or breakthrough moment. 30 days, that's when you start going, it's easier to just go back. Why are we even doing this? It's not working. I tried to show you it's not going. I told you it wasn't going to work, but you keep trying. I told you. Let's just go back to doing what we were doing before because it was more comfortable. Right?
Hey, Chris.
And if you push through that 30 days, then you get from 30 to 60 days. After 30 to 60 days, your body starts to get used to it. It says, wow, he's not giving up. He's going to keep doing this. Maybe we need to start wiring some things together so he doesn't have to think about it anymore, because your brain is the most efficient machine. The brain and body is the most efficient machine ever built. It tries to make shit easy for you. That's why when you first started driving a car, you were like this while you're driving, trying not to screw anything up, staring so intently, braking and stopping at yellow lights because you didn't even want to run the red light. Now I drive by some of you. You've got food, your phone, makeup, you're driving with your knee, blowing through yellow lights, passing people, cutting people off. They're probably your buyer that was following you. That's just Florida drivers, because it became a habit. And you could talk to if you tried parallel parking. How often do you do that? Not a lot. But what do you always do when you go to parallel park? You're jamming, turn the radio down so I could focus. Got to turn it down so you can focus, because you're not used to all the other distractions coming in. It's the same thing with everything you do. So you have to, it takes up to 66 days, or it takes a minimum 66 days. So I say, why not just do it for 90 to 100 to make sure you got that shit in good? Okay.
Hey,
So
Chris.
pick one.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. No, you have a strong point, because I was jumping from one lane to another lane, and I'm going to be honest on that, because I was trying to do so much stuff, and then I said I gotta stop and I gotta focus on one thing, and that I appreciate you, and I'm pretty much honest with you on that, because sometimes you're like trying to do so much stuff, and then you get discouraged, but you do have a strong point, and I thank you very much.
Yeah, let's just pick one and stick with it. You'll get better results. You'll get better. You'll get better at all of it. It will happen. Just pick one.
Thank you.
For sharing. All right. Well, it's a little after 12. We'll let everybody go. Click on Calendly. If there's no open appointments there, reach out to me or Jimmy. Schedule some time with us so that we can sit down, really kind of hone in on what your focus is going to be, what your lane is going to be. Create some strategies and a schedule so we know when you're doing what you're supposed to do. And then create some accountability with us so that we can hold you accountable to those things and get the results that you want. So you guys have a happy Thursday.